Welcome to the Car Guy Show. Join award-winning automotive magazine publisher Tim Miller, along with his co-hosts, national champion race car driver Kristen Traeger, and country singer, songwriter, and driving instructor Luke Betchner as they travel the country looking at car life and car culture. Join us as we meet car guys in their cars, in their garages, at their clubs, and at their events. Come along for a real kick in the asphalt.
Hey guys, Tim Miller here, and I'm in Seabrook, Texas for the 20th annual Keels and Wheels Concours d'Elegance. I've said many times this is one of my favorite events on the calendar. And what's there not to like? It's on the water, on the beautiful grounds of the Lakewood Yacht Club. You got boats, yachts, you got incredible cars. It's a fun weekend. So I'd like to take you along with a special edition of the Car Guy Show at Keels and Wheels.
Hi, I'm Rick Eberst. I'm a docent at the Mullen Automotive Museum in beautiful Oxnard, California. Our museum is an Art Deco museum dedicated to the work of all the artists of the Art Deco period, but our particular interest is in automobiles. And we have a whole variety of different cars, Delahaye's, Delages, all from the French Art Deco period. The car we have here at Keels and Wheels is a 1922 Hispana Suiza. It's a one-of-a-kind car, and it has a beautiful tulip wood body on it. It's the only one like it in the world. The car was bought in 1922, and the owner, who was a woman, asked Labradette in Paris to make this beautiful wood body for it. If you don't know about Hispana Suizas, they were the most expensive car you could buy in the 20s. This car cost $4,000 or $5,000 more than a Rolls-Royce or a Bentley. So only the best bodies would go on the Hispana Suizas because they were so expensive. This one is called a torpedo skiff. Fits in beautifully for this particular show of Keels and Wheels because it looks like a boat, it's got wood on it, and it's got a very beautiful Hispana Suiza engine. These engines were also used in airplanes and in boats. We actually have a boat here with a Hispana engine in it, and it's a racing boat. Let me open up the hood so you can kind of see what's inside. Excuse me, I have to be real careful here. Now, this car is an innovation of a variety of different things that made it one of the most important cars in the world. It's the first car to have an overhead cam engine. It's an all-aluminum engine, and it has something that no other car had at the time. It has a mechanical lubrication system in it. So rather than having just a sump with oil in it where the crankshaft would go down and hit it and splash oil up in the inside, this actually has a pump that pumps the oil throughout the entire engine. It also has something that's really rare. It has power-assisted brakes. If you look at the brakes down here, you see it has a very large brake drum that's made out of an alloy. And it has a unit that when the car slows down, it pumps up a little pump and puts air into a reserve unit. So when you put on the brakes, it gets power-assisted brakes. Now, all this wood on here is held on with these beautiful rivets. These rivets are all brass rivets. And actually, every other rivet in there is really just for looks. The running boards are all wood, the dash is all wood, and this car is quite complicated to drive. When I started up this morning, there's 18 things you have to do to start this car. And the first thing you want to make sure that you do is that you don't overflow any gas out of the engine, because if it drips down and it backfires, it can cause a little bit of a problem. This car was lost actually from 1928 to the early 1970s. It was then somebody found a chassis, and they went back to Labradette, who built the body, and they had taken the body back, but the body was put onto an old Panhard, and they pretty much tried to jerry-rig the back of it to fix the Panhard. So it wasn't really very successful. So several other people bought this car and kind of shipped the parts around to different places until somebody finally was able, a gentleman in Philadelphia, was able to match this body up with the original chassis and the original engine. So what you see here today is exactly what the car would look like in 1923 when it was delivered. We've had it since 2008 in the museum. It's a beautiful car. You might not know this, but it actually at one time had a second body. This is the summer body for the car. It also had a winter body. So this is really not only a beautiful car, but it's got a zillion kinds of innovations in it that nobody ever thought about before. So we're really proud to have it in our museum. It's called a Hispana Suiza, originally made in Spain, and a gentleman from Switzerland bought it, and he called the Hispana Suiza Hispana for his home in Spain and Suiza for his real home in Switzerland. They made about probably 2,500 of these cars. They made probably 35 of these H6Bs. So it's a pretty rare car. And of course, with the wooden body, it is one of the most rarest cars in the world. Anyway, if you get a chance, come out to the Mullen Automotive Museum. We'd love to see you. We have all kinds of Delages, Delahaye's, Hispana Suizas. Of course, Bugatti is one of our primary marks. But we have a good time, and there's a lot of cool things to see. Thank you very much. I hope I'll see you out there.
You're watching The Car Guy Show. We'll be right back.
I'm Bob Weiner, and this is a 1961 Ferrari 250 GTE. This was Enzo Ferrari's first big production car. They built 3 series of these. This is Series 1 from 1960 through 1963. Built 954 of these. I grew up with cars and saw a picture of this on the cover of Road and Track when I was a kid and said, I've got to own a car like this someday. And not too long after graduating from college, I had a chance to buy a car like this from some people who'd brought it in from Italy. And purchased this in 1970 for the princely sum of $3,700, and I've obviously had it ever since. To my knowledge, I think the second owner of the car. Car is extremely original mechanically. All the parts are original. It's been repainted and reupholstered. It's a great car to drive. I spent many days when I was living in California driving up Highway 1 up to Carmel and up to the wine country. I've been in Houston now since the 70s with a little stint in New Orleans. Enjoy the car. I like to try to get it out as often as reasonable. Clearly doesn't have any air conditioning, so the summers, unlike people who live in the north and northeast who keep their cars in the garage in the winter, here this stays in the garage in the summer and gets driven the remaining 3 months of the year. This is the 3rd time I think I've had the car down here at Keels and Wheels. I drove it down from my home in Houston, and again, it drives great. It was built as a classic Grand Touring car. You had room for yourself, your wife. You could, if you lived in Europe, you could drive down to Monte Carlo for a long weekend. Plenty of room for her to buy something at the boutiques, put it in the trunk. I use the trunk primarily to put golf clubs in when I go play golf. And it's just a wonderful car, and I'm so fortunate to have had it and have been the caretaker for this for, about 45 years now.
This is our 1909 Model 18 Packard. This is actually the first show we've ever had it with. We've had this car for about 5 years. We drive it regularly, drive it all the time. And we've been told it's the oldest Packard in Texas, which is why it's at the show. Packard is the marquee this year, and they wanted to have us bring it down here because it was an old example. The Model 18 was the town car Packard. They also had a Model 30, which was a little more common and was a bigger car. This was more for just staying in towns, and it's capable of about 40 miles an hour, and we use it to pick up groceries, get donuts, and drive around. And it's a great running car, very reliable, always starts right up, easy to drive, and we have a lot of fun with it. We actually use it a lot to go get donuts with grandkids. We have a lot of pictures with our grandkids in this particular car. We've never had this one in a parade, but we do use it for charity events and things that we know if they ask us, we'll run it up there and let them use it at the event. So it's a well-photographed car for different charity functions. For us, we just enjoy working on it. Myself and my sons keep it running and do all the maintenance on it. We bought it at an RM auction. It was an estate car. The couple who had it before us, who apparently had it for over 30 years, passed away, and we bought it. So we're the most recent caretakers, and we'll pass it on when we're done with it.
I'm Morris Stillo. I have a 1907 Jewel. We found it in Chickasha, Oklahoma, off of a picture 3 years ago. Went to the museum in Massillon, Ohio to see if it was real or not, and found out it was, and then drove all the way to Phoenix, Arizona to get it. We brought it home. It did not look like this. Tore it totally apart, every nut and bolt out of it, and put it back together in 110 days so we could attend a show in Chicago, Illinois. It's a single cylinder, 9-horse, 2-cycle. It has a 4-inch stroke, or 4-inch bore, and a 4.5-inch stroke. It'll run about 15 to 17 miles an hour flat out. It runs at about 450 RPM. We have found 2 other Stanhope body style Jewels. One's in the museum in Massillon, Ohio, and the other one's in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. I know of 7 Roadster style bodies, which is more like a carriage, but I only know of the other 2 in this style body. It's a total wood body, has metal fenders. We found out when we went to register it with the DMV, it was stolen out of a museum in 1989, and had a heck of a time convincing them that it wasn't stolen now. But due to paperwork, we proved them all to the point that we got our licensing and our new title for it. We'd like to take it everywhere that people have never seen a car this early, and we try to dress in the clothes appropriately to match the era. It just seems to give everybody a nice smile when they walk by.
This is a 1958 Chevrolet Impala. I purchased it from a man in California 4 years ago. He and his mechanic did a magnificent job on restoring this car. I purchased it off of eBay, and when I went to California to look at it to complete the deal, I didn't even have to get out of my car. I saw it parked in the driveway, and I could see the quality of work that had been done on it. I've had it 4 years. It's been in Keels and Wheels the last 3 years, and I take it to Biloxi, Mississippi every October for cruising the coast. Basically, it's a 7-day party for car guys. The car is what's known as a resto mod. All the body, the interior, everything is original. It has a 350 Ramjet crate engine in it with a 700 R4 automatic transmission, 4-wheel disc brakes. It's just a real fun car. I try to get it out and drive it at least once a week. The car stands out. People at this show, you watch them, and they don't seem to be able to walk by this car. They gotta stop, they gotta look at it. If you don't like red and you don't like chrome, you're not gonna like my car.
You're watching the Car Guys Show.
It's a kick in the asphalt. Well, we're sitting here with a longtime friend of mine, Bob Fuller, the founder and chairman of Keels and Wheels Concours d'Elegance. And Bob, this is an exciting weekend, being your 20th annual event. Can you believe it?
No, cannot.
When
we started this, never imagined it would last this long, or everything about it has been an amazing ride.
Well, I wish I could have participated early on. I came in about your 10th year.
Yeah, that's right.
And I tell everyone that this is probably one of my favorite events on the Texas calendar for car shows. And the thing is, you add the additional element of the boats and the yachts as well. Tell us a little bit more about this experience that you've had with this show, in meaning that you've had grand marshals from Sterling Moss all the way up to Wayne Carini and others.
Well, we had Sterling Moss here one year, and then I think it was 2 years later we had Sterling Moss back along with Carol Shelby here together. They were great friends, and their wives are great friends, and so it was a treat to get them both here. It's kind of like a reunion for them. Mm-hmm. We had Buzz Aldrin here one year. Cliff Robertson was here our first year, and we had a PT boat that had been restored and had just finished the restoration. This is a full-scale operating guns and everything, PT boat from World War II. And his connection with that was with the movie PT 109 that he played JFK. So he was here to help christen that sailboat. I mean, not sailboat, but the PT boat. And interestingly, we were able to find and have here the former executive officer of that boat during World War II, and one of the torpedomen. And that was a special memory of having that. That's been the incredible bonus and reward for being involved with this, is the unbelievable people that I've met and friends that I've made from all over the country, including this wonderful guy named Alan Taylor, who's sitting right over there from California. And
he's a character, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And that's the bonus, is the people are incredible.
The lifelong friends.
I would have never, ever met any of these people were it not for doing this. Mm-hmm. It's been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've been with the yacht. Well, let's talk about the yacht club a little bit. The volunteers here for the show have been amazing. It's such great hospitality here.
Well, here we are at a private club, Lakewood Yacht Club, that's member owned. So all of the volunteers here are members. 250, 300 volunteers work this show this weekend. And when people need to have something done, where can I go, what can I do? It's like they're asking somebody that's part of their home. And so we've become known, I would almost say famous, for what I call Texas hospitality. And so what else would you expect when you're here? But we have many people over the years, especially car collectors who go to other events, Pebble Beach, Amelia Island, and many others, who say they've never been treated anywhere like they are here. And we're very proud of that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's kind of our secret weapon here, is that everybody that you encounter are mostly members that own this place.
Well, and the event itself has a very special, intimate feel. It's not like it's an enormous event that you have to trek a long ways to get from one area to the other, but you have the water, the docks, the grounds around the yacht club.
The Lakewood itself, the grounds, I believe, are the star of the show, because over here in this section is covered with 100-year-old oak trees.
Yeah, it's a beautiful setting. Do you have a few favorite vehicles over the years that you remember? One in particular I wanted to mention that was very interesting and fun. It was really dramatic, actually, at the end of the show when this individual left and drove off. The aircraft car.
Oh, yes, from the Lane Museum in Nashville. We had a car, it was a race car, that single-seater cockpit and kind of came to a nose pointed front, and the engine was a Lycoming aircraft engine with a propeller, and it was drawn down the road by an airplane engine and propeller.
I don't think
that was really incredible. That's right.
I don't think he had to worry about pedestrians. First off, you heard him coming, and then second, you didn't want to get chopped up.
That's right.
So you had to get out of the way.
Easy to get out of the way. On display today is one of my favorites. That wooden-bodied Hispano Suiza.
Oh, that is. In fact, we're featuring that car. It's just a beautiful.
I think that car epitomizes our show as well as as anything. Some years ago, we had we featured tulip wood-bodied cars, and I think we had 6 of those, and they're pretty rare. We didn't have this one, but we had a group of others. And that was a real memorable deal, because all of those are just beautiful cars. And I haven't seen any of them around since, really. I know they have to be around, but I haven't seen any of them.
Well, that's what's special about this event. Each year there's something unique that you find. I don't know how you guys do it, how you vet them out, how you locate them from across the country.
I think the most unique thing we have here today, this weekend, is the USS Arizona. It is a 36-foot scale model of the battleship Arizona.
Operating guns or?
No, they used to operate, but now they don't. I learned about that, and I wasn't even sure I could believe that. And I contacted this woman in Arizona, who's the owner now, and convinced her to come. So she's here. I couldn't be happier.
Well, Bob, thank you. I know it's here. It is Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
The 20th annual. The grounds are full of people.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. You've been blessed again with some great weather here.
We really have.
And I know you're busy. Thank you for taking some time to sit down with us.
My great pleasure.
Talk to us. And I can't wait to see what the next few years are going to bring.
Me too.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, that's it from Keels and Wheels in Seabrook, Texas. And I say it many times. The first weekend in May, put this on your calendar. You have to make the trip down here to Seabrook for this event. It's a wonderful time, a great weekend to spend with the family and enjoy some great boats and some great cars. We'll see you next time. Well, that wraps up a full Saturday of coverage here at Keels and Wheels. Join us next week for part deuce. That's right, you don't want to miss our Sunday's coverage of Keels and Wheels next week. Thank you for watching, and please like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch all our episodes and bonus videos anytime, anywhere on your smartphone, tablet, PC, or TV. Until next time, remember that this show is a kick in the asphalt.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.